I think LA is one of the darkest places I've ever been to.
Just because it's sunny outside doesn't mean you can't be miserable.
I'm Svart. I am chaos. I am trauma. I am balance. I am sexuality and oppression, all boiled up into one expression of pure, unadulterated energy.
I'm Culprit, and I feel like Culprit is every problem and every solution in my life, every question and every answer. The origins of the band started when we met and kind of bonded over all forms of extreme music, and one that we really connected on was industrial and heavier electronic styles. This is something we both feel strongly about and something we always wanted to express, and neither of us had that opportunity before, and we felt like a lot of people were playing it safe when they did decide to play heavier noise or electronic stuff and industrial, and were afraid to write songs with it. It's easy to just plug in some things and be loud and abrasive and put some lights on it, but to write some songs that are really meaningful and connect with people, we felt right off the bat we did that.
I feel like I can taste it. I feel like I can smell it. I feel like it makes me want to dance. It makes me want to hurt myself. It makes me feel hurt, but also makes me feel just alive. There's just such an emotional, vulnerable, powerful, mechanical connection to it. Hearing those textures and hearing those cold sounds and everything just feels cool in its own right, but hearing that really envelop to a big song, it's the pulse, it's the beat of the heart, it makes you want to dance, it makes you want to fuck, it makes you want to feel. I think the first time I saw like the image of a dominatrix, I actually remember it was on a hot sauce bottle of hot sauce called Pain and Suffering, and I think I asked a family member. I'd sort of seen this imagery before of someone in clad leather holding a whip and wondered about it because I was sort of fascinated and intrigued, possibly turned on the first time. Had it explained to me like what a dominatrix was. That was probably when I was just under the impression that S&M was something that businessmen paid for on the weekends and not necessarily like a lifestyle in the community and a safe place. Coming into my sexuality and realizing that I enjoyed getting slapped in the face and choked, and from there was definitely a period of discovery and, you know, trying new things and going to parties and clubs. In so many ways, S&M is probably the most consensual sexual experience you can have, because if it's done right, it does involve a lot of trust and communication, verbal arrangements that might not necessarily exist in other sexual situations. I think industrial music in its own way is the soundtrack to BDSM. The texture of a kick and snare, to me, sounds like the same rhythm as a whip cracking on someone's skin. Playing this music and making this music does make me get off on the same way that S&M does. This is the first project where I'm actually able to express that side of myself and feel safe in that and feel powerful in that. I guess performing in Contracult is almost an act of exhibitionism for me.
Darkness is sexy. Sex is dark, you know. Yeah, I grew up where there's more churches than gas stations, and there's a lot of judging going on, you know, on all levels. So even just being yourself, like, it's a hard thing to do, I understand, for a lot of people.
I guess in the darkness, I feel the most sexy when I find darkness sexy.
I think the fact that it's hidden away makes it more attractive and more exciting for people in general. But you know, people are too afraid to fully embrace that and to be open about it, unfortunately. But it's definitely exciting, just like music that you're not supposed to listen to. A record that's got the devil on it when you're a kid, you look at it and you're like, oh, I better hide that, I'm not about that. But inside you're like, it's just something that's a part of me and you don't even know it. And then you slowly just accept that into your life, and you're not afraid to let other people know that.
I think pain is one of the strongest human emotions, and I think whether it's something that gives you pleasure or doesn't, pain is still something that makes you feel human and makes you feel cold, harsh emotions.
Darkness is a part of everybody inside, whether they want to admit it or not. People live their lives based on those feelings, going one way or another, how they want to appear in public, how they want people to perceive them. It's intentional. So I think you do have an opportunity to go out to certain places and people gather, you know, that feel the same. And heavy music has always been an expression of frustration, anger, joy. I mean, everything that happens to you in life, you know, it's anger, sex, happiness, sadness. I mean, a lot of depression, obviously. I think the world's a really dark place right now, but we're also willing to embrace that and take a lot of that darkness, and that feeds us into our music completely. Lyrically, sound-wise, everything is reflective of that.
You can't deny the fact that the planet's dying, the world's dying. There is a very strong upheaval of supremacy and division and oppression. But at the same time, I feel like there is something happening that's revolutionary. I think things that are outdated and need to die are actually dying, whether that be things like gender or a monocultured view on organized religion, an openness to multiple sexualities and not necessarily just two, an openness to multiple genders and multiple beings, and not necessarily prescribing everything to just two ways of existence, but I think things are being recognized and talked about that never really have before. There was a period of time where these things were actually challenged, even within stuff that maybe has this appearance of being outside the normative of like hetero male mentality. It still becomes more of that, and it's still based around that, and it still feels very male gaze, and I want to challenge that as much as possible.
This band is an evolution, and what you're seeing right now is a snapshot of the evolution of just us. Like, every time we step into the studio, it's a new phase, it's a new idea, it's a new part of us. It's just growing and expanding.
I think that is the band we needed to see, and we needed to exist, and we weren't seeing. It comes from a place of really loving music, and loving music for what music is, and how powerful of a tool that can be.